Well, Ofir and Naama Weinberg are two sisters whose cousin Itay was taken hostage by Hamas on the 7th of October. They're here in Germany for a meeting with Chancellor Scholz tomorrow. Thanks for coming in. Welcome both. Let's start with what happened to Itay back in October.
So Itay was visiting his parents and our grandmother for the holiday. He doesn't live in Kibbutz Be'eri. He lives in Tel Aviv. And on that morning, we were witnessing the attack through WhatsApp group, our family chat. It started by Orit, Itay's mom, asking us to pray for them, saying that they hear bombings and shootings in the street. After a while, Itay's father, he was in a different house. He told us, they're inside the house. Please call for help. And that was the last message we got from him.
Right. And since then, you have heard nothing. You've heard and seen nothing of him.
So since then, actually, just a few days ago, we got a sign of life from Itay for the first time after more than 50 days.
And what was that?
We got it from one of the hostages that were released and was held with him the whole time. And it was that he's alive, which was, a big release for us, because we didn't know even if he's alive until now. The Red Cross didn't see him, didn't meet him. None humanitarian organization met any of the hostages. So we really didn't know. But we also understood from them that he is in a very bad mental state. He is suffering from deep anxiety. He witnessed his mother being murdered before he was taken away. He was with her at her house, and he saw Hamas terrorists shooting her, and then they took him away. We know that he assumes that his father was also murdered because of that text message. And he thinks that his whole family that lives in Kibbutz Be'eri are all dead. He knows that his sister was the only one that was far away on October 7th. So he thinks she's the only one that survived. Besides that, we know that Hamas terrorists are doing psychological terror on the hostages that are being held. They're telling them there is no Israel country anymore. Mm-hmm. They're telling them they have nowhere to go back to. No one cares about them. No one is doing nothing in order to get them out. No one is talking on them. Mm-hmm. And from what he knows, that he saw his mother being murdered, and he assumes that it happened to his dad as well, and he knows that the whole family lives in the same area. So, and in all the suffering that he's in right now, he thinks that's the truth.
Right. And tell me, when we had 7 days of this ceasefire, and I think 3 or 4 sets of hostages released in that time. So were you watching those hostages to see if Itay was amongst them, or were lists published previously?
No, the list was, the families had, they got the list before, right. And we all knew that it will only include children and women.
Because no men were, right.
Yeah, so we already knew that Itay will not be released during that ceasefire, during that deal.
Okay. So where does that leave you as a family? Because we heard just now in a report of families taking the Israeli government to task, saying they're not doing enough to get their loved ones out. Where are you on that? What do you think of the way the government has handled this?
In some way, we're also disappointed, because it's been 61 days today, and they're still not home, and Itay is still held hostage by Hamas terrorists. And we know that every day that goes by is a danger for their life. Their life is in danger. They're barely getting food. They're getting one slice of bread a day, or just a bit of rice. We know they haven't got any medical treatments, any medications. And we know that their life is limited in time.
So what should the government have done then? Should the Israeli government have agreed to another ceasefire? Because as the way Hamas tells it, it was Israel that was blocking this. I mean, you know, you don't know that we weren't in the room, but that's the Hamas story.
I expect the Israeli government to put the hostages on first priority.
So does that mean then keep having ceasefires until they're all out? Or as the government would say, we've got some out and we got them out because we kept hammering away at Hamas and this is how we expect to get more out? Well,
I know that there was no deal on the table, and if there is a deal on the table that could bring Itay back, I expect Israel to take it, even if it includes ceasefire. I think that the hostages must come first.
Right. You're meeting Chancellor Scholz tomorrow. For what reason? What do you want from him?
Itay is a German citizen. We've been here. It's our second time right now in Germany. We've met Chancellor Scholz in the past and many other politicians before. And our expectation from Germany is to treat and handle this case as German citizens that were taken hostage, and to treat it in the same way they would have treated if it would happen on Germany's land.
So what do you believe they haven't done that they should have done?
I think right now that the whole world needs to level up the pressure that they're putting on the countries that are playing a mediator act in this situation.
It's like Qatar.
Like Qatar, like Egypt, like Turkey, the countries that are feeding Hamas, that are hosting them, that are housing the Hamas leaders. And I know that if the pressure would be, hard enough or big enough, it would happen and the hostages would be released.
So, Ofir, what do you want to hear from the Chancellor tomorrow? You go and have your meeting and he will nod and listen. But what do you want, in an ideal world, what do you want him to say that will go some way to putting you at ease?
Of course, in an ideal way, I would want him to tell me that Itay is coming back today, tomorrow. But I know he can't say it. So I would like to have his promise that he is treating Itay as it was happening in Berlin, and that he is putting the hostages' life in first priority.
OK. Thank you both for coming in and talking to us. We wish you well with your meetings. Ofir and Naama Weinberg, thank you.
Thank you.